options available.
All right. Well, here we go. What do we got in our first? This is going to be so confusing with the two pugs. There's a big 20 to start us off.
I like it. Let's keep things a little sparse here, because I feel like we had kind of a fast seed. Like Andy finished with around a 110 time, Christos with a 115. So, we need to increase that number.
Opening map check right off the bat, we did see at least 2 crystals, and I think we got a pendant at Desert, and I believe a Pyramid Fairy crystal up at Tower of Hera. Yeah, red pendant at Desert, so 2 pendants in the Dark World. Oh, come on, reset. Are you kidding me? Oh, that's a bummer. All right, well,
Hammer time again.
What? Oh, come on. What
is
happening? Okay, no, that's good. That's good. If you want an interesting start, give them Dark World access as soon as they get out of this game.
That's fair.
The entire world is almost open to them, so we're gonna get some huge diversity. Most players will go straight from Escape to Kakariko, and then to like South Shore or maybe Sahasrara. But if you have Dark World access in Kakariko, you might just go right in there. 4 hearts, green mail, go right to Mothula. Who knows? It could happen.
Or maybe you rush Hype Cave, check out what's over there.
Yeah, there's always ways to look at it. It's like, sometimes you kind of have different strategies. Like, do I focus on dungeons if I can do them? Do I focus on overworld? It's hard to find that balance, and some people like to, stick to one or the other.
Yeah, it really can be tricky, but, I mean, these guys are going to try to full clear dungeons when they can. But not really go out of their way to places like Ice Palace. Right. I know Andy in particular hates Ice Palace.
Andy hates ice. Chris has even more reason to hate Swamp now, more than he already did.
That's right.
So as always, in the opening, this is standard mode, so of course they have to go through the entire escape sequence, save Princess Zelda, get through the sewers, and then the world is open to them. And, every now and then we'll get a seed that has, like, just a ton of stuff at the beginning. Or nothing. Hammer and Moon Pearl right off the bat is, it's gonna be interesting. Especially because sometimes that Moon Pearl could be in the last place you look before you go to the Dark World.
Yeah, certainly. And if we do find those gloves pretty quickly, as you mentioned, we could just jump right in the Dark World, which just might create some cool route divergence and could open up some fun gambles.
Alright, well, Andy not taking damage from that ball and chain guard, using the hammer strats. He's taking already a huge lead. I don't know if Chris he's going to have to make some crazy gambles if he wants to make this up.
He's like a room ahead, man. Don't underestimate. It's crazy.
Every second matters, man. We've had ties. We've had several ties in this tournament, so... And even after like a 2-hour seed, we still have people come down to finishing like 5 seconds apart.
That's crazy.
It's spectacular that could possibly happen, especially when you have 2 players doing all sorts of different routes and still kind of both enter GT at the same time.
Well, that's why Link to the Past Rando is so fascinating. Like, there's so many different things you can do and advantages you can get over your opponent, but like different people can get different advantages, and then it can come full circle.
All right, well, with bombs in hand, they don't really have to worry about farming any more enemies. A lot of times you'll see players still killing enemies as they're making their way through Hyrule Castle. Usually they're looking for that bomb drop, but we got that like basically off the first enemy in the game. And they're going to need it for a bomb wall in the back of the sewers that contains 3 items. We already know they're all going to be something potentially useful since we already saw the map. And they will kind of potentially dictate where we go next. I mean, I've seen seeds where, you get a glove and you get a lamp, you go right up to Death Mountain right off the bat. It's possible.
That could be really fun. And I mean, honestly, they don't necessarily even need a lamp to go up Death Mountain. These guys are well versed in the game. They are happy to do sequence breaks, although they certainly will consider you know, what they're doing when they're doing it, and that can guide them to find items in certain locations based on their sequence breaks.
That's the fun part about having a randomizer with like really solid logic, where you can do sequence breaks to kind of decipher what the game's intentions were, where potential items could be, especially when you got like dark rooms and stuff like that you can work around, or fake flippers. What do we got in the back? We got the powder, we got a bomb capacity upgrade, and a heart container. Well,
all right.
That powder is immediately going to lead to another item, since they already do have the hammer, so they'll be able to go visit the Bat Cave in Kakariko on their first visit. No Dark World access yet, but I have a feeling we got time.
It's coming. We can get that mad batter giving us some gloves. That would be sweet.
Man, both guys getting a rat right in the doorway, and both of them have to like either just tank it or have to switch to a weapon. And we got a shield as well.
Not to be underestimated. I like my shields.
Shields are nice. You never know. If you find yourself at, T-Rock Laser Bridge with mirror shield and no boots or any other safety, there's potential for it in the logic.
This has been a pretty common occurrence, I would say, that players tend to shy away from the lumberjack check and head into the Lost Woods directly, get the 2 items here, or at least check them, and kind of ignore lumberjack until we get the boots, because you can't even collect it until you do. So that'll be kind of unknown for a little while.
Oh, and there's the mirror.
Wow.
That's going to be nice for routing in the Dark World, making some of the checks a little bit more efficient once we get there, such as checking, circle of bushes, or we get a book, we could check, the Bombos tablet, stuff like that. Or, if we make our way up to Death Mountain, it's the easiest way to get up to Tower of Hera. So, nice find.
Yeah, that is really fantastic.
When I see Hammer, I'm already thinking about Palace of Darkness. Well, I guess we need a bow first. But mirror is one of the nicest things to have for that dungeon in particular, since you spend a lot of time mirroring back to the beginning.
I also like to think of Swamp. I mean, I know we don't have any flippers yet, so don't want to get too excited, but if we do find those flippers, it opens up the first half of Swamp, and I love seeing people go into Swamp and fear going into Swamp and probably put it off until their last thing, but opens up some fun gambles.
The hook shot on the left side? The good times were had.
Oh no, you got to put like a red cane over there that leads to hook shot and mire or something. I don't know. Can't be that easy.
Can't be that easy. No. We want to give these guys a challenge. Come on.
Yeah.
Nothing going on so far in Blind's Basin. We do have a nice set of rupees, which is something we're going to need later on, as well as here in Kakariko. There is a bottle vendor that you normally buy a bottle from for 100 rupees, and he will have a potentially useful item. And then, of course, there's the whole life lessons from Zora later on, which currently isn't in logic, but might be later down the line.
And probably something they're thinking about, because with fake flippers and the Moon Pearl, you can get a lot of items up there. And oh, hey, look, 300 more.
I think we're good now. I think we got plenty.
We got there.
Oh, okay, now we're good. I think we're good now.
Sure?
One more. Oh wow. Okay, just what I wanted. We have Dark World access already. Ooh. We got a hammer, we got a glove, we got Moon Pearl. They could go right into Village of Outcasts, right from here, or make their way down and go straight into Hype Cave from the portal just north of Swamp Palace.
And with the mirror, that opens up some really interesting routing options as well, because you can kind of do both Light World and Dark World things simultaneously, and that can potentially save you some time.
Oh, for sure. This is the kind of for some players it's the dream. For many players, I think it's a nightmare when you have this much available to you right at the beginning, because you're like, I could go somewhere completely wrong and miss boots for 30 minutes or something like that.
Exactly. It's just going to come down to, what they think is most efficient routing. And, ChristosOwen, being a developer and working on the logic, probably has a pretty good idea of what's going on. Andy, having played the game for, so long as well, he's no joke either.
Nope. And I could even see, I mean, with 5 hearts and just a hammer and green mail, I could still see these guys, you know, going straight into the Dark World, Village of Outcasts, and like checking Sea Hut and checking some stuff, and of course checking the crystals and pendants. But I feel like we might stick to the Light World. What do we got from the Magic Bat? Just a big 20. Well, that's a little disappointing. And Chris saves and quits out. Let's see where he heads to next.
All right, so not checking the library, not checking the race game. That is interesting. Looks like Andy will be doing that, and Christos is heading south. How will he route this?
Well, the nice thing about that mirror is that if he really wants to, he could go check Hype Cave and then go left to check, like, the Flute Kid, Circle of Bushes, Digging Game, and then mirror to check what's at Maze Race, as well as the library.
Ooh,
So,
that's fascinating.
half magic. I don't think we'll be seeing that ever again. unless Chris happens to find the boots before he checks it. And the Maze Race has just a single rupee, so a very nice play from Chris, being able to put that off.
Yeah, nothing critical there, and gonna skip out on that piece of heart outside the dam. Gonna be heading to the mini Moldorm Cave for 5 more chests. I'm interested to see if Andy decides to take the same route. Looks like he will as well.
And with just bombs as well as a hammer hitbox is a little wonky against these guys, so it's like he's going to do a little bit of combination of bombs and hammers to get through here. He's got to be careful, though, because those mini Moldorms do pack a powerful punch, as well as more often than not, you get hit and then knocked down the hole. But he clears mini Moldorm Cave down to heart and a half, so he's got to be a little bit careful in the overworld. Let's find out what 5 items we got in here.
Piece of heart, just a big 20. Hey, there's a tunic. Now we can be a little safer. Full heart and another full heart, so plenty of love here.
And another save and quit out. I'm feeling either this is the Sahasrara play, or this is straight to Dark World to check Hype Cave and continue west.
Well, if you're in ChristosOwen's shoes, you know, like, this is your tournament life here. You have to make some plays in order to try to get ahead of Andy. You just have to. So looks like he's gonna just go for density here and head over to Hype Cave. So can we get some hype for some Hype Cave action? Here we go.
I want to know how many hammer hits it took. He just hammering on the ground, and the mini Moldorm just staying perfectly away from him. That was funny. But yeah, it makes sense, especially this early in the run. You want to kind of focus. I like it's good to focus on more chest density because you have a much higher chance of finding what you need quicker. And it's looking pretty bare. Oh, that was terrible. That was
Not
awful.
so great.
I mean, we got some heart containers, some arrow capacity upgrades, because you know we need those. But yeah, that's the thing. There's always a debate about choices in the rando, whether you focus on more chest dense areas. Nice bomb purchase there. He has the money for it, so might as well just stock on up. Or if you want to go for these out-of-the-way locations that you think your opponent isn't going to check.
And kind of from ALG Andy's perspective, I would say that being thorough is probably a reasonable thing to do since he is a game up.
Yeah, he can play a little bit more safe this round if he really wants to. And walk into a crab.
And drop
That's
a
pretty
bomb.
safe. Drop a bomb. This looks like he's going to set up for the fake flipper. I like this because he does have the moon pearl, so if he wants, he can also set up the water walk in the waterfall cave to grab the 2 chests. It's a really simple trick. You just got to make sure you don't get shot.
Yeah, quite a lucrative play. I mean, you get to check what's on Lake Hylia, you get to check Hobo, you can fake flipper out of there, you get to see what's on Zora Ledge. Hopefully you don't have to come back, but...
Ooh, and we have our Dark World map check. We have Crystal 6 of the Pyramid Fairy Crystal up at Skull Woods. We also have our pendants at green pendant at Turtle Rock and blue pendant at Palace of Darkness.
Oh boy. 2 dungeons just packed with items.
That's a pretty good, I don't know, that's a pretty good variety of pendant dungeons we got today. Now, of course, Pendant Dungeons could very well contain absolutely nothing required and could be entirely skipped. Or we could have Bow on Laser Bridge. Like, that, the amount of times that's happened, I feel like there's something wrong in there. Vitorp, what are you doing?
Oh, that's where it is in the vanilla game, right?
Right. That's where I would put it.
Yeah.
If I was Ganon.
Probably. I guess that's what Vitorp asked. It looks like Christos remembered, hey, I haven't checked these things. I'm gonna go peek.
Green rupee. And I wonder if he'll check the library and then head up to do Village of Outcast. But yeah, so far nothing going on in this route for Chris. Let's see what we can find for Andy. With this sequence break, we have our first potion. Our first bottle.
Sick Kid is now open for business, and that could be an interesting play to check on Sick Kid and then jump into Village of Outcast for Andy.
Yeah, it's going to work out relatively efficiently. Being Bombos on the Zora's Ledge. That's a tough one, because Bombos, of course, has multiple uses aside from just getting into Misery Mire, or Turtle Rock if it's required for that. It could also be our ticket into Ice Palace in situations where, like, the Fire Rod is in Ice Palace. So I can kind of see that potentially being useful, as well as this Cane of Burna from Zora.
Well, I mean, it's a weapon. They don't have a sword, but they do have the hammer, so probably not going to see that too much.
Well, here's the thing. Aside from the lamp, hammer, glove, moon pearl, Spike Cave could possibly have something. We're not going to be seeing that for a while, but
I mean, he also has that bottle. He also has that bottle, so like
that's true.
It's Burna's nice.
I think he should go up there just to check Spike Cave. Like,
just don't even save the old man.
Don't even save the old man.
Just somehow just get around.
Walk right by. All right, we're Chris here in the Village of Outcast. He finds his fire shield. That's the level 2 shield, and Andy getting a nice little 8-bomb drop. With Thieves Town being a crystal, I don't see why he wouldn't immediately just go ahead and do it now, and that seems to be the play that he's going for.
I mean, we found Cane of Burna and the fire shield. I mean, what more do you need to fight blind?
Right. And another 300. How convenient. Are we gonna can this seed hit 2,000 rupees? That's all I want. I just want to see 2,000 rupees.
Let's go 3K.
Let's go 3K. How many 300s are there in the game now? 5? Because I know they added one.
But yeah, I think there are 5 or 6.
I know they add. I remember there being 4, and then they added one when they added the 2 waterfall fairy chests.
Yep.
But looks like Andy's following the same route that Chris made, and that nice use of the mirror to check maze race. It's pretty convenient. Saves a little bit of time.
Sure does. There's the big key, and we got 2 more items in Thieves, so be on the lookout for those, and we can collect them all.
This is a really... I mean, it's only 18 minutes in, so I can't really say much, but, like, where's all the items, man? Where are they at?
This is what we want, though. We want the open world. We want a lot of exploration options. You can't just jump into the first 4 Thieves and find, bow, fire rod, and the boots or something. You gotta delve a little deeper.
Yeah, and with this layout of Crystal and Pendant Dungeons, we are going to need quite a few items. We're going to be able to skip stuff like the Ice Rod, potentially. That's pretty much it. Maybe skip boots.
Yeah.
This isn't the best layout, actually, to be quite honest. I mean, being able to skip Ice Rod is good enough, though. Like, everything else doesn't matter if you can skip Ice Rod. That's good.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Ice Rod. Yeah.
I'm getting ahead of myself.
There's still situations where we might need it, but they are not on their radar right now. All right, so you think Andy's probably heading into Village of Outcast now, maybe doing a little Sick Kid check for us?
Yeah. Now, if Sick Kid ends up having some... Oh, there's a bottle for Chris, so maybe that bottle... Maybe Sick Kid could actually have something now. The sequence break is already kind of dead. Hey, more bomb capacity. All right, perfect.
All right, let's max our rupees, bombs, arrows. It's good.
The nice thing for Chris is he'll be able to mirror here in Village of Outcasts and just check Sick Kid while he's here. It would be even better if he managed to find like a flute as well while he was in here or in the area, so you can knock out both of those. And then you're basically done with Village of Outcasts, aside from maybe coming back to check the save the blacksmith and do that stuff.
Yeah, they'll be pretty set. I'm interested to see if Andy decides to pop into Skull Woods, because such a quick check. You know, sometimes you see a lot of players decide to jump in there, check it out.
Yeah, it's a tough choice to make sometimes, especially right now when you're like, I have to lift all these bushes. But if Village of Outcasts or Thieves Town has a fire rod, but they don't have a sword anyway, so actually I don't know. It might be worth checking the front half.
It's an interesting option, and you know.
Ooh, there's a bow. Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, looks like Thieves Town, great place to check, but that opens up Palace of Darkness and Eastern Palace a bit. So,
yeah.
You know, not necessarily wanting to go to Pod, but that might be where the game wants you to go.
Well, the nice thing about having that mirror is that they do need to go to Eastern Palace. I can see both of them sequence breaking without the lamp for that, and they will be able to. And there's the flippers. Okay, they will be able to check both of them in one go if they really want to.
Okay. So now that Bombos is obtainable as well, something to think about. Nothing that we can really use right now. We don't have a sword, and we don't really have mitts to make use of it from a
well, there's your sword.
Logical standpoint. Okay, well, never mind.
There you go. Okay, well, Village of Outcasts, pretty stacked. Man, if only they had gone there right off the bat, right? That would have been nice. Well, it would have been nice having that blue mail, but didn't even matter. Chris, I believe, made through the entire fight without taking any damage.
It's a really nice hammer blind.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are pros. They know what they're doing. But yeah, Andy's fight might go, a smidge faster. Get a little knockback from that hammer. You don't necessarily get from the sword.
Yeah, they always say there's like a script with the blind fight. I don't know if it's true or not. People just say it a lot. But it's a little bit harder to stay on script when you got that hammer just because of the knockback. But with the sword, maybe we'll be able to see this a little bit cleaner of a fight for Andy. But I don't know. It doesn't get much cleaner than that given the circumstances. But doesn't that always happen? You beat a boss and then the very next chest you check has a sword upgrade or something that would have made that boss slightly easier.
Immediately. Absolutely.
Immediately.
Yeah.
It happens way too often.
But I do hear that there is a new script being worked on for Blind 2, so that musical is coming
it's a
soon.
musical. Oh, I'm looking forward to it. Are you going to
Yeah,
be?
it should be good.
Will you be the music director?
I could. Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah. All right. I'll be looking for it.
All right.
All right. Well, this is an interesting play for Chris. Looks like he is making the Death Mountain play. He doesn't have a fire source, of course. He doesn't have the lamp to put this into logic. He also doesn't have a fire source if he wants to complete Tower of Hera. But who knows? It might not be basement required. Here's the thing. When you're making this play, at what point then would you check Lumberjack? When would you route that in? Maybe checking Bumper Cave at some point?
I guess you just do it when you get boots and you have to check Bonk Rocks. I think that's when you do it, basically.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Because, you gotta have the boots anyways, so you just kind of wait it out. And we also don't have lamps, so I don't suspect either of these guys, well, they probably can do Dark Aga Tower fine, are going to waste their time on that.
Well, with Eastern Palace and Misery Mire being two of the required dungeons, we, of course, that lamp is going to be needed, quote-unquote, in quotations, needed for those two. And as well, if we end up going into Pod or even to that T-Rock Laser Bridge, which didn't have the bow, I'm very disappointed. But not really. It's nice to see some variety.
Yeah, why don't we put a fire rod there or something instead?
Oh my gosh, the fire rod. Fire rod. Can it be in Laser Bridge? Is it possible that the stars align? Jeez.
It's very
I've seen
very low likelihood, but yeah.
I've seen like the lava chest having the fire rod, the laser bridge. That's like up there with like Moon Pearl on Pyramid. That just doesn't happen anymore, or like hardly at all.
Agreed. Yes.
It doesn't happen enough. All right, well, big key here on the floor in Tower of Hera, so no lamp potentially required. Well, no lamp required to beat this dungeon. If, of course, there's an item in the basement, we might have to come back for that, but it's one of those locations that people just kind of write off and never go back to.
Andy grabbing his bow here, while Christos grabs the compass, so getting one step closer to potentially having an item in the basement.
A little misfire with that pot to actually hit the switch again. I really love that knockback that you get from hitting the hard hat beetle that also hits the switch.
Oh, it's so cool. Yeah, I love it.
It's so simple, but it looks so nice.
All right, so we get to see some sword strats here from Andy on blind. I guess this is that script you were talking about.
I don't know. That's what I heard. Hey, look, our third bottle up in Tower of Hera. And Chris setting up for a nice bomb jump. Gotta be careful here. I think. Oh! No. That's why I don't go for that one. That one's tough. So there's this cool thing where if you like do a spin right at the edge of a pit, you'll like it'll kind of keep you from falling down. And I don't know, it looked like Chris had it. He might have been like a couple pixels too short, but in his attempt to like try it again, he of course got a little too close to the edge and took a dip. So that's going to cost him a little bit of time. His options were to just go up and fall down the vanilla way. If
we did get to see the hard hat beetle strat again. So
I know.
Worth.
We might get to see it 3 times, maybe 4 if Andy falls, or if Chris falls again.
Let's keep count.
Let's do it. But we are seeing that Skullwoods play from Andy.
I like it. I like it. There are 2 items in Skullwoods. It's actually pretty quick to just, run in here, check things out.
Aw, that feels bad. Take a dip just for a big 20. But it's at the same time nice to confirm that Hera Basement will not be required. Will not have any sort of items in it, possibly. Could very well have the small key you need for it.
Absolutely. And then, you got to imagine that Chris is going to be heading up to, East Death Mountain, where we're going to see 8 more items. So, and if we get the mitts over there, then he'll be able to check even more. So, certainly a nice place to be.
Ooh, Master Sword here in Skullwoods. Not only is that a required item, but that is a nice little beefy upgrade to your sword from that dinky plastic sword. Of course, you'd still prefer to use hammer overall, but sometimes you just can't have hammer equipped. No big deal.
Yeah, it's nice to find that Master Sword fairly early like this, because then it's just so much more impactful throughout the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm.
It'll definitely, help with Moldorm 2 if he wants to use that over the hammer.
Oh yeah, and with those flippers, man. Oh wow, Silver's on the floating island. That's interesting. I can't imagine. I mean, both these guys are comfortable doing Silverless Ganon.
Well,
it's
it might
not that out of the way to grab
it. Yeah, I think it might be worth the time.
If it was like half magic, I could see them skipping that, but we know that's on the library. It'd be kind of silly to skip Silvers at this point. Of course, they still need to get the mitts first, so.
If he finds mitts up here, he'll definitely go pick it up, because it'll speed up, Armos, which he can. Oh, okay. Well,
there they are.
Okay, easy.
I think he's gonna get those Silvers. All right, well, that is a huge play for Chris, or a detriment. Sometimes you kind of want mitts to be a little bit later sometimes. Because when you get the mitts, that opens up so much in the game. Kind of like when you get opening Dark World access. And, if more of the required items are like locked prior to mitts, that Andy finds instead. But it looks like he's going to be making the same play, so all these points are moot because they're going to be right next to each other.
All right, but 5 more items here in Paradox Cave. Still need to find a bunch of stuff. Where's the stuff?
There's some stuff. There's another thing. Oh,
Lots
there's
of
some
stuff.
more things. Man, look at all these things.
I
Oh,
like
wow,
these.
that's like 20 things. Oh, 3 more things. I don't know, quantity-wise, they found a lot of things. That's like 16 bombs and 20 rupees. That's some chest density, if you tell me.
There you go. I don't even understand how these chests can even fit
How do
all
they
these
keep
bombs
doing
in them. Yeah, it's so strange.
All right, well, we will get to see what medallion is required for T-Rock. I'm sure they're going to be excited to find out that info. Can not do anything in Hookshot Cave unless they find the boots, or ideally the Hookshot here in Super Bunny Cave. And then it's going to be a question of I don't see why... Yeah, he's probably going to skip Spike Cave without that Cane of Burna.
Yeah, we might see Andy decide to do that because he does have the Cane of Burna, and I think he has that blue potion, so, I mean, he's pretty set. And they know where half magic is as well, like, all the pieces of the puzzle are there, kind of. But, ooh, skipping out on the check on TR, not even going to bother checking it. It is a pendant, after all, and he doesn't have any medallions.
Mm-hmm. It makes sense. He doesn't even have, like, if he had, like, at least a medallion and Cane of Samaria, yeah, I think it'd be worth checking, because you never know when you're going to get, like, Fire Rod or a Hookshot in that first chest, or something in the first chest of the dungeon. But I like this play.
So do you think you jump into Eastern Palace, you check Sahasrara, and then you just ignore Pod? Because that's kind of what he's doing. I'm not sure if I necessarily like this, but...
Well, here's the interesting thing. I think Ice Palace might be a play we want to see soon, because we have access to Bombos, we have a sword now, we have a hammer, we have a red mail, we have an ether. Those last parts don't really matter to my statement, but...
Well, red mail kind of helps in ice, but...
Red mail is pretty nice. Because, fighter sword strats on Cold Stare is not too fun.
Absolutely, but yeah, Chris doesn't actually even know that Bombos is there, but we might see that from Andy, but I know, we talked about it, Andy doesn't really like Ice Palace.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe where the game wants him to go. Could even have Fire Rod there.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting what Andy does with that knowledge of Bombos being on Zora's Ledge. Because that's kind of one of those places that, if you put it off, I mean, when are you gonna go check the Zora's domain or everything like that? Then again, Chris hasn't done... I don't think he's done anything with the, like, fake flippers or anything flipper related. I don't even think he's checked the island.
No, I don't think so.
He saved and quit out of...
Yeah, I don't even think he did Ice Rod. Alright, beautiful fight there from Andy. Nabs, his second crystal, so all caught up. But he's done a lot of other checks as well. So this Eastern Palace has been open to these guys, at least the first bit of it. Not the boss for quite some time. So if something was here, I mean, it could have just been sitting here all along.
Yeah, always thinking about where that lamp is. Where could it possibly be? I mean, what are our lamp options right now? Where could it be? I mean, I guess it could be an Ice Palace.
It certainly could. You gotta kill that guy.
Interesting. He even shot the one on the left. Weird.
I like he killed the guy in the middle. Like he.
Oh, he killed the guy in the middle, not the guy on the right. He threw the pot down instead of right. Gotcha. All right, Andy grabs his mitts. Probably go ahead and do Super Bunny Cave. I wonder if he would check T-Rock medallion simply because he has knowledge of the Bombos medallion. Maybe. Also, Chris going for a bit of a risky play, skipping the vanilla big key chest. I believe either he found all 3 items already, or he's going for that 50-50 play.
Yeah, we'll have to take a peek. Well, he probably won't menu at this point since he has the bow on.
Yeah.
But Well, I mean, again, those are things that are time consuming. It looks like ChristosOwen does not have time for them.
It is such an annoying chest to go for when it's a 50-50, because every time you go for it, it's a compass or a map, and every time you don't go for it, it's a required medallion.
Every time. Every single time. Yeah.
Every time. Speaking from experience.
But setting up for the quick kill here, looking good.
And he got all of his things in Paradox Cave. What do we got off the Armos Knights? A piece of heart, so I'm assuming he made a good gamble. Yeah.
Yeah, if there were 2 items left, I don't think he would be skipping that, so.
Right.
Alright, so 3 crystals for ChristosOwen. Now where you heading, buddy? Could make that first half of swamp play. It's open.
Oh, and it looks like Andy's going to go to the T-Rock portal to get to the Dark World, so he will be getting eyes on that. I wonder if he's going to go grab those silvers or put them off. I don't know. It's hard to tell. But a little bit difference here. And yeah, Chris with a pretty good crystal lead right now. And it looks like he's going to head down and check all these flipper locations next. So
yeah, it looks like Quake is the requirement here for Turtle Rock, the one medallion that we haven't found. So
that could be anywhere.
Yeah, it can be in crazy places, but it really depends what Meyer is a little bit more than that. We'll see.
Yeah, of course, we're still looking for a flute to even get us into the Meyer area, but now that we have that Mitz, it's that could be our access to Desert Palace as well, which Desert is a pendant, so we might not have to go there. And it looks like Andy is going to be making his way up to grab those silvers. No hookshot, no boots, so we can't even check any of these items in here.
Can't even hover.
Can't eat. I'm so disappointed. Come on, Andy.
Yeah.
Just try at least.
Where are you going,
and
Andy?
Also try and throw the bombs in the right direction.
Well, maybe he wanted to go,
You want to bomb that? I think it's a great fairy up there, I think. Well, this is going to work out for him. I'm assuming he is going to go ahead and do Spike Cave right afterwards.
Oh, he's going for it. He's again, he's playing really thorough. He's getting all his checks in, so he doesn't miss anything, and he's got silvers. He's going to have it for Vitreous. He's going to have it for Armos, which is probably going to come up pretty soon.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like, you could, when you're a game ahead, you can play this safe, because a lot of times people will be like, I need to make crazy plays in order to save time, and Chris has been making a lot of plays that have actually been working out for him. But if he just makes one that has a required item and he never puts that off until the last check, then it's pretty much GG. Oh
yeah. Well, now he's got the blue cane in hand while Andy's using it up here in Spike Cave. What's it gonna be? Got him!
Got him! The single arrow, everyone's favorite. All right, Chris gonna grab that Bombos medallion.
You can just walk back to Ice Palace here.
Yeah,
maybe.
I'm kind of. Oh, all right. I want to see the Ice Palace play now. I think that'd be fun. But hey, we might get that hook-shotless Swamp Palace play that you were wanting.
Oh, baby.
It's there. If it could happen.
No, I think Christos is just walking to ice right now. I think that's where he's going. Where else could he be going? And I think Andy might be going for the Pod Eastern play, because he hasn't checked any of this, Sahasrahla included, so he'll get his red mail.
He might even check the pyramid as well on the way up here.
Yeah, not a bad plan. Little pit stop.
Let's see. It looks like it. That's the thing, is when you don't do AGA, it's kind of inconvenient to route in the pyramid check, except when you're doing pod or if you're going pyramid catfish. A lot of times people will like to put off the pyramid check until they can do pyramid fairy first into pyramid check, but without that fire rod, we can't get that other crystal. And if fire rod's sitting right here, then it's gonna be unfortunate. Just $50 though.
All right, so into the fridge we go here for Christos. It's really not convenient to find a key early, in this dungeon, but it won't cripple them.
And using bomb strats. For some reason, these what are they called? Pengators?
Pengators, yeah.
They die instantly to bombs. They take like 2 or 3 fire rod shots to kill. 1 shot with the hook shot. There's Quake for T-Rock. Oh boy.
It's a good thing Christos didn't check, because he has all of them.
It is. Well, now he does. Yeah, he doesn't have to. So a little bit of time save there for him. Man, Andy, where are your medallions, bruh? Well, he's about to get his ether here in the back of Sahasrala's hut.
Which maybe that's the only one that really matters. We'll see.
Now, are we gonna get the dream? Bombos to Fire Rod and Ice Palace. That's the dream, right? Well, that's one of the dreams. It's my dream.
That's certainly a dream.
I love seeing it because it's really interesting, and it does happen quite a bit often, though.
It's just something that, like, as you're growing up playing this game, you never really think about too much.
Oh, for sure.
And then it's like, oh, this is in the logic of the game.
I mean, like,
that's cool.
When I first started playing Randomizer, I was like, wait, you can use bombos to break open Cold Stare's ice? What?
It's like, I can save all my magic and get all my fire rod shots in now.
I didn't know that. How are you supposed to know that? Does the game tell you somewhere?
Just gotta try
using those bombs to take out those Pengators, but Andy going with the pod play. Small key in the front means he can continue. It doesn't really matter. He does have the bow, and if he didn't have the bow, he could still potion glitch if that was an option, but that will not be an option. All right, well, nice little divergence. Let's see which one of these pays off the most. Of course, Chris, regardless, is going to be going for a crystal. Early big key.
That is convenient. Don't have the hook shot to clip through the blocks here, so you gotta bomb your way down, so you can just go ahead and do that now.
There's the small key.
There are 5 items in Palace of Darkness, so this is definitely a more lucrative play than Ice, but again, as Willard said, Crystal versus Pendant. It's a tough call, but we're missing a lot of stuff.
It could end up that Pod has absolutely nothing, and Andy spent however long it took to complete this and gained nothing but just information. Or he could find, like, just the Tempered Sword or something.
Ooh, that could actually be kind of brutal for Chris.
Yeah, I do
a lot of swords
anticipate he'll go back and get those silvers at some point, especially if he ends up having to check Hookshot Cave for another item. Oh, there's the Cane of Samaria.
So Quake and Cane of Samaria hanging out in Ice Palace. Where does the game want you to go?
Now he just needs to find the fire on here, and then he'd be all set.
You can get a chest, and maybe keep getting strung along. Get that fire rod on the laser bridge. The dream?
The dream? Yeah, without the hookshot in hand, he is going to have to set up not too difficult bomb jump there. Just some pixel alignment. The problem is sometimes it's really easy to take a couple dips, or if the enemy RNG is kind of getting in your way.
But very clean.
Yeah, taking a lot of little extra damage here. He does have the powder if he wants to powder this bunny beam up here. He does also have that blue potion as well.
Looks like he's using the powder. Definitely a wise choice. He knows he doesn't need too much magic here, because he's got, Bombos anyways. Wow! Another sword!
There it is.
3 items in Ice Palace, all pretty good.
Very, very good, yeah. So now we just need... Well, Flute will get us into the Mire area. Will let us beat it. Especially with all 3 medallions in hand. Oh, well, we still need Hookshot or Boots. I always forget that.
We absolutely do.
Okay.
And some sort of fire source, potentially.
Yeah.
That's
a
also
tough way
the
to
tricky
make.
thing, too. Yeah.
Going into Mire without a fire source.
But we don't have Flute, so I guess until we find that, it's
we're getting a little ahead of
not
us.
really a big deal.
But let's see what's in Pod. Well, Let's not see what's in pod. It's a little dark in here.
Right.
If you hear rupee sounds, it was rupees. If you see something like a red boomerang, it's probably a red boomerang. Just a hunch.
So we got both of our players getting red items. I think Christos a little bit happier with his choice.
And bombs as well in the dark maze. Well, that's interesting. That'll put an item on King Helmassar if Andy wants to go deal with that. But on Chris's side, you know, that's actually very convenient finding that Master Sword. It still doesn't really help him as much. It's still better than Fighter Sword, but you'd be better off. Hold up. We got a hookshot in pod.
Oh, baby. That is some value. So Andy and Christos finding amazing items in two completely different places, but one of them is a pendant dungeon. So will Christos end up going there?
Well, that's the unfortunate news for Chris is because he went ahead and did Eastern and not pod. Like, I don't know when he's going to do it, but at this point, he doesn't really have many options. I mean, he could go into T-Rock now, but
for the one chest, yeah.
Check one chest.
Well,
so
I mean,
happening.
it could string him along, basically, but that's the likelihood of that is pretty low.
Yeah, I get the feeling that that lamp is probably sitting somewhere in the front of Swamp.
Yeah, that could happen, or it could be in that first chest. TR, that would be pretty funny. Use that lamp as your first fire source to find something else.
It could if like Flute ended up being in the front of Swamp.
So much fun to speculate.
It is. You could do it for hours. It's great. Well, that's the fun part. That's why the logic in this game is just so fun to think about. It's like you play through a seed, and you're like, that was the worst seed I ever played. But it was very interesting if you think about it. It had a lot of very interesting.
All right, so yeah, Christos definitely going to make this pod play, it seems, and it'll be interesting. I guess Andy will probably hit up Swamp soon. It seems like the thing to do, unless he really wants to go up for Hookshot Cave.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I'm curious to see what he could find possibly up in Hookshot Cave at this point. But Chris is making the pod play, and I don't blame him. His choices right now are all pretty bad. So this is kind of the best play to make. It's like, all right, do I go into Swamp without Hookshot? Do I go back up and check T-Rock? You know, do I do Spike Cave? Do I do Graveyard Ledge?
Right. It kind of works out that he found items that didn't really progress him, but ones that he kind of needs anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Here, so I think it's actually great that he got that red cane, because, like, you know, if your go mode is a fire rod or a flute or something, you know exactly what to do. You don't have to search certain areas of the game.
Yeah, so right now, as far as we know, since we do have knowledge of that hookshot and the cane, all that stuff, we're just, a flute and a fire rod away from being able to knock this thing out? Maybe boots, the rare boots, big key on torch scenario.
Oh, boy.
The amount of times I've seen races come down to, oh man, if big key's on torch, this game's over for said player, and then it never is. Like, it never happens.
We've seen it a couple times in this tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, but
a tie has happened more often than that has happened. Man, this tournament has been ridiculous. To go from 512 entrants down to 2, and it only took a couple weeks? I mean, it's such a quick tournament, really good. I can't wait to do another one, maybe next week. We'll just do another 512. Real quick.
I mean, I'm down.
All right, sounds good.
I'll be number 1 on that list, on that sign-up list. When's the qualifier?
Tomorrow? Right after this. We're just doing one.
All right, sounds good.
But Andy with the silver arrows taking out ALG Armos real quick. Yes, Starflex, those Armos. And we'll be grabbing his... What's he at now? 3 crystals?
Uh-oh.
Man, oh man. All right, what's the next play? What's it going to be, Andy? You got a few choices now.
I want to say swamp. I think he's jumping right into swamp, and then he could head over to ice from there if he wants. But he does have to pick up bombos along the way. But if he finds fire rod, in swamp, then he could just jump straight into ice and ignore bombos potentially. It could be risky though, because we still don't know what Maya requires.
Yeah, it's kind of like a blessing and a curse that he went to Zora's domain early with the sequence break, because it's like, I don't want to get this unless I absolutely have to. But yeah, if he just finds that fire rod here in Swamp Palace, there are 6 items in this dungeon. It's just a long dungeon, and curious to see if we'll get that left side play, or if he'll do what I feel like most players do and just go straight to the back, and then go back in if needed. I'm feeling a flute. I've been seeing a lot of flutes in Swamp lately.
Okay, I'm down. And I mean, what'll be interesting is, like, Andy will go over to Meyer with 1 medallion. Like, pretty much immediately. I think he'll activate that flute and check it out.
And, you know, if Meyer ends up being Ether, he doesn't have a cane. It'd be unfortunate if he went in there without... Yeah, I don't know, man. He needs that fire rod. Because if he finds flute, it's going to send him elsewhere and away from going to Ice Palace.
I mean, he knows where that Bombos is, so, like, he might just be thinking, I may just have to suck it up and go pick that up and then jump right back into ice. It's time-consuming, but it might just be the right play. I'm
wondering if maybe he can, like... I'm sure he wants to skip it entirely, but maybe if he finds, like, boots, he can do a Catfish in Azora.
Okay.
He's been playing very safe and very efficient, just trying to clear as much of the game as possible as opposed to skipping stuff, so we've seen plenty of races come down to Catfish.
It's been kind of paying off for Christos, though, that he has been skipping a lot of these locations. Like, they've just been duds.
No, he's been making some good plays.
Yeah,
and both players skipping out on King Helmassar, so can't wait to come back to get fire rod from him. But we gotta find that lamp first. I feel like the lamp's gonna be in here as well. Lamp or flute? Actually, I don't know.
ER is also a really good place for flute, too.
Yeah, that's
Turtle
true.
Rock tends to hide some goodies, and it is also the green pendant. I know we don't have either rod, but hey, there's a lamp.
There it is. Well, that's good. That's our first fire source. So there's now the possibility of, like, fire rod being in that left side cutscene chest in Meyer if we get to that point. That's a fun one to see. And just like how Andy's been routing this, he's gonna go ahead and either set up for the left side or go straight ahead and do it. Chris not too far behind.
I imagine he's going to go ahead and do it. Again, playing thorough and finding the compass in the first chest in Swamp, you know that something's going to lead to an item here. It's like either the big keys over there and the map, or you're going to find a couple items over there. So
that's true.
Like, it's the safest thing is to just do it now, and it's probably faster too.
Yeah, and we've seen races come down, like, players have lost races just because of skipping one item on left side that ends up being a required item. As I think it was, as Chris put it, he's seen more people lose races to skipping it than win races to skipping left side.
Yeah.
I believe that was his comment after Game 2 versus Hippos.
Big reason why he's here.
You gotta play smart. What do we got? Well, there's the big key, so that's going to work out efficiently. Getting through Swamp.
Very nice.
And a big 20. Yeah, because
we
a lot
need
of
more
times
money.
Players will go straight to the end, to the back, and hope that they find the big key there. It's the worst when you have to come back in to check left side, and then it's the big key, and you're like, come on. Now I gotta go walk all the way to the big chest as well. So
That happens way too often.
yeah, it's
Which
it's
is why I
the worst.
tend to just check it
Mhm.
immediately.
I think the whole, if you get a dungeon item in the front half, go ahead and do left side anyway. Is a good way. Is a good thing to stand by. 10 arrows, totally worth it. You know, you might have just got 10 arrows, but you get to have the relief of knowing that you didn't leave anything behind on the left side.
And that's exactly how Andy's been playing this whole time. Step by step, thorough, get everything along the way. Don't have to look back.
I wonder if it's because you know how players will play differently, but depending on their opponent. Because like Andy versus PKR, we saw Andy skipping stuff left and right because he's like, oh, my opponent's gonna do that too. And now Chris is kind of doing that anyway. But I mean, you play to your strengths, and if you feel like you can full clear the game and still like finish with a reasonable time and still win races, then by all means, just keep doing your thing. But yeah, nothing so far in Swamp. This might be entirely a dud. I think there's got to be something in here. Like, come on.
Doesn't have to be, but
Lamp
get
is not
down to it.
Lamp doesn't do much for us. It gets us all the stuff that we pretty much already checked. That King Helmassar, man. Now, for overworld stuff, the only things we haven't seen any of the blacksmith stuff, purple chest. We haven't seen graveyard ledge,
Catfish.
catfish. I think that's pretty much it that we have access to.
And there's that
Argus
first
with
chest in Turtle Rock. Don't forget about that one.
It's not stopped. It's not happening. It might happen.
It might happen.
I'm feeling it. Flute or fire rod right here. Double fire source in swamp. Also,
man, that would be cool.
these double slashes, man, they kill me. I'm more of the hook 2 and spin to win for Argus Phase 1, but that's just me.
And it looks like we're going to see a difference in the second phase. Chris did not pick up those silvers, and Andy just knocks out Argus with a silver arrow. But nothing. Just the lamp.
Just the lamp. Great. Now what? First chest T-Rock. Here we come.
I want to say Andy's got to commit to this Ice Palace play, but
Yeah, I think he needs to go do that. Where's he
I think.
heading off
Oh, he's
to
gonna go to Catfish, and he's gonna mirror and go to Zora to get his bombos. That's my
Okay.
guess.
Yeah, this is the most efficient way to do this. He could just mirror and go straight to Zora, but you know, then you isolate Catfish for all eternity.
Yeah, pretty much. And without boots, it's just so painful to get back. Now, will ChristosOwen go back in for the one item on the... Oh, no, I guess it's 2 items, technically, because of the big key.
I don't know. He's kind of playing wacky, but right now, like, what are his options? You can go check the front of Lost Woods. I feel like it's either going to be King Helma, that one chest in T-Rock, or one of these overworld locations. But he's going back in.
He knows it's 2 items. He knows he could get screwed on the big key, which is actually going to happen.
Yeah.
But
He's been skipping a lot of things, but he's got to stick to his own word of, you know, he doesn't want to lose the game to skipping left side swamp.
that's right.
I don't blame him.
All right, so new check here, Catfish, coming at us right now.
Fire rod or flute? It's like the 2 things we're looking for. Maybe book. Don't be book.
You have Hookshot Cave as well.
Oh, there it
there's
is.
The fire rod. Wow.
That is huge. He doesn't even have to get that bombos, but he'll probably go ahead and get it anyway, just in case it's required for Meyer. But that hurts. That's bad for Chris. Because when do you check that? When do you go do that? And just like, oh man, it's the worst. Because you want to do like Pyramid Fairy, Pyramid Catfish. Like that's usually the most efficient route to do.
I'm not sure
you
if
haven't
Chris
done those?
actually checked the pyramid though.
I don't think he has, so he could do that right after this since he's in the area, but
It's only 2
Catfish.
checks, but he's running out of stuff.
Catfish takes another. Well, his options right now are Catfish, Graveyard Ledge, Ice Rod Cave, King Helmassar, or up to T-Rock.
And
Or
Hookshot
Spike
Cave. Hookshot Cave is
Oh
up
yeah,
there as
Hookshot
well.
Cave is in play.
And we have the Smiths.
That's
as
true.
well.
He does have quite a few options, so I'm gonna be curious to see what he chooses to do. But Catfish is kind of one of those. It's one of those deal breakers, man. It's like if you don't do it, it's pretty much over.
Yeah. It's pretty huge, and
Yeah,
it'll
well,
definitely speed up this Ice Palace for
Mhm.
Andy, so that's really nice.
So now it's just gonna come down to where that flute is. I think we just got one item in Skull Woods, but that fire rod opens up. I think Andy's gonna have like so much of T-Rock open to him once he gets this Quake Medallion.
It's tricky though. Do you go to Turtle Rock or do you do Pyramid Fairy first? So, like, there's some interesting choices here.
Yeah, it's a tough call because you don't know, like, if it's in T-Rock, and especially with Pod had the hook shot. Oh man, I don't know, man.
It's so tough.
I don't know.
You also have Hookshot Cave up there as well, so
That's
it's like
true.
super value.
He could go up, do Hookshot Cave, and just get immedially bailed out, and not have
True.
to go into T-Rock at all.
Or he could find Ice Rod in Hookshot Cave. That's what.
Or he could find Ice Rod and Hookshot Cave with Flute on Trinex.
There you go.
No. Shovel to mud. No, I'm not even gonna do that.
Get your sequences in the chat, folks. Uh-oh. All right, Chris, going up the mountain.
Oh man. Well, this is good if Flute ends up being in Hookshot Cave.
Or like the first chest of Turtle Rock.
Or the first chest of Turtle Rock. He's gonna get his silvers.
That's true. This is a good time to pick those up. He still doesn't have... Like, both of these guys are sitting on Master Sword right now. Andy will be getting his Tempered here in Ice. Chris has missed one in Skull Woods, which I don't suspect he'll be going to until he's done Catfish, or maybe before. Maybe he'll head there like as a last resort before Catfish.
I don't know. I have no idea how or when he's going to be able to route in Catfish at this point. If like Catfish had Flute and Fire Rod was somewhere else, I could see it, because then you could do the Pyramid Fairy to Catfish. But I don't know, man. I'm gonna be getting dead rocked. That's unfortunate. Yeah, man. I don't know how it's gonna play out. That Catfish kind of flipped everything, because Chris was looking pretty good at this, like, at the point. Until that happened.
He's still looking pretty good, but coming up here.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though.
From him.
Andy fell.
That is the thing.
That is a thing.
He has the hook shot, so he can still be fine getting this chest.
Sorry. If he ends up finding Flute, then that's gonna take him away from checking Catfish. So you kind of want him to find nothing up here. But worst case as well, if Flute ends up being further in T-Rock, his chances of wanting to go back straight up to T-Rock afterwards is probably pretty slim too.
Well, there's
So
only one more left.
We've got some nice things. Heart container. All right. And he's going to go ahead and get those silvers. This is a good idea.
I really want to see this first chest of TR.
You really want it to be it.
I mean,
that'd
so
be
bad.
perfect. Andy now getting his Cane of Samaria. Just a Flute away. Maybe boots. The rare boots. I want to see the rare book to get Flute, like, in desert. You see that every now and then.
Oh,
and it's hilarious.
Man, that's rude.
All right, Alu, here you go.
All right,
You've been asking for.
Do this. Oh, baby,
I'm so excited.
This is some spice.
If there's ever a time to give him a Flute. Actually, I don't know. I don't know if he wants to see Flute right now or not.
Oh, I might want to see like boots here or something. That could be.
Boots would be funny. Moment of truth. If it's a small key, he can still check the Chain Chomp room.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Well,
It's not over
he's
yet.
alive.
Andy getting his tempered sword. That's his third item, so he's going to be heading back down to go face Cold Stare. He's going to have a little bit easier of a time because of the sword upgrade. But of course, Chris had a combination hammer plus smash a sword. And Andy's also going to have the fire rod, so it's extreme advantage.
Christos looking longingly in his inventory for that fire rod.
Mhm.
Decides, I guess I have a master sword. I'm just gonna use that.
Chain jumps? Come on. Alright. This is a key, then he can keep going. What do we got? It's a compass! That's it. We're done.
Ouch.
Ah, that hurts.
No spike cave check. Where are you going? Gotta be heading in the direction of Catfish pretty soon.
This might be... Okay. This might be Skullwoods, Graveyard Ledge, Catfish. I can see that, route.
Mm-hmm.
He still hasn't checked the pyramid, though, as well, but that seems a little bit out of the way for just... To go pyramid Catfish just seems really slow at this point. That's the nice thing for Andy, is because of the sequence break, he was like, okay, Zora's Domain has a little bit more value, so it makes more sense to go Catfish, Zora, whatnot, so...
Worked out well for him, and Andy has grabbed his 5th crystal and has tied it up here with ChristosOwen. Gotta think Skullwoods is next.
Mm-hmm. And for those just checking in, we are, as far as we know, 1 item away from Go Mode. At least Go Mode to get, at least the mode that gets us into G Tower. We are just looking for that flute to get us into the Mire area to complete Misery Mire. Andy is now fire on hand, will be able to go ahead and finish off Skullwoods, get his 6th crystal, which will unlock the Pyramid Fairy, and we'll see where he goes to next. Chris, on the other hand, is going to turn into Blacksmith. This is 3 items coming up, because he can do this. That mirror sound is really annoying while I'm trying to talk, Andy. Can you stop?
Can you please
stop doing that? Peg Cave, Blacksmith, and Purple Chest coming up, and, you know, flutes and Purple Chest, that'd be really hilarious.
Yikes. A lot of people like to wait until they have that to turn that in, but, you know, let's see it. That'll be fun.
It was blue. A blue rupee, though.
Just a bloopy.
One of the things I like seeing is when someone's 1 item away from Go Mode, and then they grab the frog, but then the item's in Peg Cave, so then they're like, I still have to turn in this frog, so I can go finish the game.
I love that. Yeah.
Because you can't take the frog into, like, multiple entrance caves, you can't take him into most dungeons. You can bring him into Skullwoods if you drop down, you could also bring him into the Ganon fight.
Oh, but, it's so great if you bring him in the Ganon fight. I mean, he's the real hero there.
Right. There was I think it was in the fall tournament. It was like someone's last round, and it was like a close race. I was so mad because they both landed on the pyramid at the same time, and one of the guys took the time to go get the frog just to bring him to Ganon. Like, it was a race that didn't matter because they were both, like, mathematically eliminated. But I was like, you guys, why? It was funny, but I was mad because I was like, I wanted a close race, but instead I get this.
Well, this is maybe a little foreboding here for ChristosOwen, because he's going to check Graveyard Ledge with the Purple Chest. Which means he's probably not swimming across to go to Catfish unless he's abandoning ship.
He might take the chest all the way to Catfish. But yeah, that's the thing when you play this game of, like, skipping. Wow, that moth was so quick. Only 2 of the spikes despawned. Ooh, there's a blue goo.
4th bottle.
4th bottle, not a flute. Back on those plays and check them now? Or do I just pretend like they're... Basically, if there's something, it's over. And look, he is going to be going to Catfish, so...
Oh, thank goodness. All right, so...
He got a game.
He's failing on a lot of these checks, but it's coming down to it, so I think he realizes he just has to be thorough.
I mean, here's the thing. If he gets Fire Rod... Well, when he gets Fire Rod from Catfish... I don't know, it's a randomizer. And if he turns in that purple... When he turns in that Purple Chest, and it's flute, like, all of a sudden he's in the lead.
Oh yeah, that would be enormous. Now, we do have Andy going for the Pyramid Fairy right now, so I think he wants to kind of just get everything out of the way before he commits himself to the Turtle Rock play, which is pretty time-consuming.
All right, Chris probably ecstatic, jumping out of his chair to see this fire rod. That's such a hard item to route, so... Where are those boots? They're probably going to be in GT somewhere. Maybe they're on King Helm. They're still King Helmasaur. That still could be the play.
I would love to see them in desert. I think that would be pretty funny.
I can't wait till we have that beatable only mode where items could be like inaccessible, so like boots on library or something.
That's great.
All right. 2 items for Andy coming up. 1 item for Chris. We're going to see the purple chest first. What do we got? It is just an air capacity upgrade. Pyramid Fairy has the boots.
Ooh, the boots.
Oh, man, that's huge. All right, well, it's not over now. Andy just went from 2 items to just unlocking 2 more items. So now he can go do Bonk Rocks, King's Tomb, and this actually works out really well for his routing because he hasn't checked Graveyard Ledge yet. So now he's going to be able to go over there and do that. So
that is pretty enormous. We got Christos walking over towards Village of Outcast area. Gonna be doing Skull Woods, obviously, because Southern Crystal. I mean, we've been seeing Christos go for the crystals, and then maybe we'll see him grab his boots at Pyramid Fairy.
I would assume so. Now, he hasn't been to Skull Woods yet, which is why he has a different... He just has the Master Sword. The other sword was in here. So he still has to clear all the dungeon.
Mm-hmm. But at least he gets to do it in one go. King's Tomb coming up short for Andy. Gonna be checking Graveyard Ledge for those bombs, and then we'll probably see the Bonk Rocks. He's already checked Lumberjack, so we know that's out of play.
Mm-hmm.
Can get half magic.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate for Chris doing the blacksmiths when he did. I mean, it ended up essentially leading him to Catfish, thankfully, just with the way you routed it. But, you know, Andy's going to be, if Andy ends up doing it, he's going to be able to do it quicker because he does have those boots.
But he will eat some time doing it, so and he's in the vicinity, so this may be his best chance to go for it. But here's some new information.
Is Bonk Rocks the go mode we were looking for? No!
Sure, why not? Another blue item.
All right, well, obviously Flute's going to be on the pedestal now. Like, we can complete all... Oh, no, we can't. If Book needs to be in T-Rock. If
This
just
sure
the Book
does.
is in T-Rock.
Yep.
Book, maybe a fetch quest or a boomerang. Then we got that pedestal play. All right, well, this is it. It's going to come down to one or the other. Now, the curious thing is Chris going to do... He'll probably do Pyramid Fairy.
I wonder.
Probably. I don't know.
I wonder.
He's probably he might be thinking, you know, I've done so much overworld, so now I got to go back to focusing on dungeons. So he might just go straight for the T-Rock play.
Brutal in the scenario where pedestal is required.
Mm-hmm.
Because if, like, the big key for desert is on the torch and he hasn't done Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Oh.
Just when you think the seed was over, we're still going.
Yeah, we're already past the Andy's time in the first race.
Oh yeah, he still hasn't done Hookshot Cave, so he's gonna go check those items, get his bombs in Heart Container. And then once he heads into T-Rock, we're gonna be able to see a little bit more in there than we got to see with Chris. We only got to see 2 items. We'll get to see pretty much everything. And there is still a very good chance that Trinex could be holding our required item that we need.
Yeah, just that flute. We might see a bunch of these fetch quests as well that we haven't been seeing, like Mushroom and Shovel. So that might be interesting. You know, that might create a conundrum where you could potentially leave Turtle Rock early.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, yeah, that's rough. Speaking of rough, that moth fight from Chris, he was not getting him very good patterns. He kept hitting him in the spikes, of course. Hitting Mothula into the spikes does no damage to Mothula, even with the Tempered Sword. So losing a little bit of time there, but nonetheless grabs his 6th crystal and He's got to make a very important decision right now if he wants to potentially stay in this race. If T-Rock is the play, he needs to go there soon. But this is looking like a Pyramid Fairy check, which is good. He'll get his boots. So if Trinex or Pedestal is required or whatever, then this will work out for him.
Sure will, but Andy is already working through Turtle Rock right now. We haven't seen these two chests here on the right side at the beginning because we didn't have a fire rod. So get to check this out with
Big 20.
20.
Small key. All right. Keep going. Remember when we laughed about T-Rock and Pod being really long pendant dungeons? Well,
Those
we're still
were the
laughing.
days.
It's so good. Who'd have thought we'd get to do both of them? It's okay. We might get
Helmasaur. Yeah, it's still on the table.
Right, I know. They both skipped out on Helma. And if he ends up having the flute, that would be hilarious.
Oh, that would just be... Oh, that would be brutal.
The nice thing for Chris is because he already did Graveyard Ledge, he can just save and quit after getting his boots and then spawn at the Sanctuary to go check King's Tomb and Bonk Rocks, if he so chooses.
Yeah, we might see a Lumberjack check from him as well.
That's
while
true.
He's there. He's actually checking the pyramid too, which kind of works in his favor a little
50
bit.
50 rupees. But yeah, if Flute is in fact in T-Rock, then Andy's got a pretty sizable lead at this point.
Will be pretty hard to overcome, but you know, there's still gambles at play in Ganon's Tower, and with Christos gambling like he did in game 1, crazy things could happen.
You think he'll go tile room first again?
Go all in. I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, that Catfish was pretty late. He must be feeling behind at this point. But I mean, he still never even checked like Ice Rod Cave or you know.
You almost expect your opponent to also check Catfish a little bit late. I mean, I know some people like to do it a little early, but I mean, Andy didn't find it that long ago. Maybe 10 minutes ago or something.
Well, he's probably feeling a little bit behind because he's like, oh man, if I had gone here first, I could have skipped, you know, doing Bombos Ice Palace or something like that.
Yeah, or made the TR play a lot better. That's probably what he's regretting more of, but it looks like he is going to be going up to that Turtle Rock.
Not even checking Lumberjack.
All right, Mimic Cave time. Here we go for Andy.
Your favorite place, Alu.
It's a great place.
Hey, wasn't there bombs in your bit race?
The stings, folks. The stings.
So good. Anyway, off topic. All right, let's keep going. We still have plenty more items left in here. There's a small key which we need to continue. We still have 5 more chests to open up, and then of course Trinex himself or herself. Pedestal's still not in play until we find that book, because of course, you know, oh man, Pedestal's in play. I found the flute. Well, I also found your go mode, but you know.
Well, I mean, you can still do it if you want. Maybe.
I mean, yeah.
Pull a mushroom out of the pedestal. Pull a bug
This is all
out.
dungeon. Oh, this is a pedestal percent, right?
All right, we're looking for that book here on Laser Bridge. Right?
Come on, book. Or a fetch quest. I just want nothing to be here, and I want it to be on King Helmasaur. That's it. I'm sorry, guys.
It's the last thing that they're gonna do. Like, Andy will go and
do the blacksmith.
Do the smiths. Yep.
I mean, I feel like if you want a game 3, that's what you got to be hoping for.
It's not that chest.
Upgrade. Small key. Heart container. Map. Okay.
Oh. Well, it can be on Trinex. The dream.
I mean, here's the thing.
This a long time ago.
It could also be green pendant because we are getting the green pendant from T-Rock.
True. And that could be an opportunity to go check King Helmasaur as well.
Yeah. man, the further this is in T-Rock, the worse it gets for Chris.
Well, at least he's done chain chomps.
Yeah.
Right side.
That's like a 30-second save right there. All right.
Yeah.
See this nice quick Trinex fight going with backdoor strats. 4 slashes, another ice, switch, last hit. They'll have a little dash through strats there. Really quick. Only going to get 1 head attack, but, you know, whatever. There's no zero cycle with Tempered Sword.
It's pretty much as quick as you're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
Okay, what do we got? Last item in T-Rock. It's gotta be a heartbeat.
Oh, no.
Okay. It's not over yet.
Like, you have that glimmer of hope with the green pendant, but Andy's probably like, oh god, the blacksmith's help right now.
Right,
That
yeah.
is literally what he said.
I mean, that's the thing, is it could very well... It could have just been on the blacksmiths the whole time, and then, you know, you did a T-Rock for nothing. But
exactly.
Here we go. Gonna be turned in that green pendant. Sahasrara, are you the keeper of the flute? Or are we gonna have to go kill King Helmasar? Because basically, if it's not at Sahasrara, it's either Helma or... Wait, I don't think either of these guys have been to Agnes Cave either.
Oh my god, you're
Could
right.
you imagine? Could you imagine?
Look at all those Spear Zero Agna. Here we go.
There it is.
There it is!
There it is.
Go
Wow.
mode for
21
ALG
minutes.
Andy.
35 seconds. We have go mode. Well, that is huge. ALG Andy has a tremendous lead at this point. Chris still has to check Mimic Cave. He has to make his way all the way down to Laser Bridge. He still has to kill Trinex. There is basically nothing but time on Andy's side at this point. This is his race to lose. Of course, we still do have Ganon's Tower. We could have, you know, some differences of routing in Misery Mire that might switch things up a bit, but this is looking extremely good for ALG Andy. He could possibly be our winner of this tournament today.
Yeah, and he's come really close to clutching out a tournament win in the past, but don't believe he's got there in Randomizer specifically. So this is exciting, I'm sure, for Andy.
Yeah.
He's got to be feeling good about that play.
What a road it's been for him throughout this tournament, especially like in the bracket stages. Because I believe he went 7-0 in Swiss, and then like he lost so many game ones in the bracket where it's like, all right, I just got to win the next 2. Oh, and it is Quake, which we did get out of Ice Palace, so Bombos not required.
Ice Palace with the goods, man. Like, holy smokes. Quake, a sword upgrade, and the Red Cane. So good.
So good. Dude, that's so rude. So both Light World and Dark World Zora's Domain had like both the useful fire attack sources. That's funny.
That's crazy.
Thanks, Zora, for nothing. Alright, well, the question is, what kind of Misery Mire are we going to get? Are we going to get a beautiful God Mire with that big key in, like, the first 2 chests? Oh, and Chris getting bopped down the hole by that red hard hat beetle. Gotta be a little bit careful here. He has plenty of help, but every time he spends falling down holes is time that he does not have to spare. Oh my gosh.
Here we go, folks.
Of course.
Andy gets
Of course
the
that
showboat
happens.
here with the hover, but oh, he does fall. He's going back.
He's gonna keep going for this.
Oh, takes another spill. He's committed.
He's committed.
Oh, man. All right, take 4. There it is.
Well, that was about as close to a Godmire as you could possibly get, especially for our good friend Andy, the Master of Hovers.
Absolutely. And it shouldn't be understated, the Trinex fight that ChristosOwen just had. That was pretty darn good.
So Chris just needs to go visit Sahasrara, get his flute, but then he has to still go activate it. It's a bit of a process. And then, of course, he can head straight into Misery Mire. He does have the Quake Medallion, so he's good to go. And then, of course, Chris will have to grab the big key and then go back around the normal person way.
Oh, you never know. We haven't really seen ChristosOwen hover ever before, but, you know, what if?
Is this the time? We just oh, I could hover the whole time. I just didn't do it because reasons. All right, but silver arrows in hand. He's just going to be able to take out all these little eyeballs in one hit each real quick, and then 2 silvers to the big eye to take down Vitreous. Andy will be grabbing his 7th crystal and will be our first player heading into Ganon's Tower. And of course, with the acquisition of that last crystal, we do have a little game we like to play. Hello.
All right, folks. We have 22 locations in Ganon's Tower where the big key is. Andy will be heading up there shortly, so get your guesses in the chat. Where is the big key for Ganon's Tower? What do you think, Willard? Where's it going to be?
I'm feeling after Armos, I think.
Okay.
Which would not be beneficial to Chris at all, unfortunately.
You can see a full right or something, but yeah, it probably wouldn't make up the difference. I want to see Rando Room. This is Randomizer. Gotta see some Rando Room action.
Might as well finish her off in Rando Room. It would be quite fitting.
All right, flute activated. Andy almost at the Dark World portal here up on the mountain. So basically, whole mire and mountain climb difference right now. It's a pretty sizable lead.
It's very sizable. It would be hard for Chris to be able to make up this time, even with like full. Like a complete, I don't know, even with like Andy doing a full left or something and finding nothing and Chris going right side. He'll be able to keep it close if that happens, but at this point it is for sure Andy's race to lose. And if Andy does end up taking this game, this will be his revenge on Chris from the Key Sandy tournament, where Chris took it. I believe it was. We didn't do best of 5 for that, did we?
No, but I believe it did go to a game 3.
Game 3,
which Christos ended up taking. So, man, it's looking good for Andy here.
Looking real good.
Big W.
Chest number 1.
Hey, God,
it's over.
All right,
it's over. That's it. Go home, folks.
It was fun, everyone.
So. Remember the whole GT discussion? Yeah, that's dead. First chest. Congratulations, whoever guessed number 1. You're a legend. Or you're lazy. One of the two. I mean, that seems like a fitting way to end this after forcing both players to do basically all of the 2, probably the longest dungeons in the game as pendants, just to get items. Just to get 1 item from each. I think it's fair. We can live with that, right?
I can live with it. I can dig it.
All right. Yeah, Andy with red mail, tempered sword, silver arrows, plenty of health. I believe he still does have that blue potion, maybe 2. He's got nothing. Nothing else. He just needs to grab 1 more small key, which he'll probably grab from one of the mini Helmisars up at the top. But it is all execution from here on out, and Andy is one of the finest players of Link to the Past and Link to the Past Randomizer, so I can't imagine him having any trouble as he gets shot by a Vemos. But
just immediately commentary, Chris. But you know what? Like, you got to still be engaged and enjoy like the amount of practice and time that these guys have put into the game. Like, they are both executing really well. I mean, like, we're still at like 1 hour 30 minutes right now. We're getting close to beating the game. Like, a lot of people can't, sub the 2 hour. Like, I just struggle sometimes. So it's an amazing feat and just a beauty to watch these two.
Yeah, this has been an absolute thrill. This whole tournament, it's been fun just seeing all the different varying skill levels and varying levels of crazy plays and gambles and seeing how that all worked out, like in the bracket stages or even way back in the Swiss stages. It's been a long tournament, but I'm glad that it came down to an exciting, thrilling. Unfortunately, only 2 games for the finals, but and maybe we can get best of 5 for the next one.
Why stop at 5 when you can do, you know, 7 or 11 or
64 matches? Wait, no, it has to be an odd number.
You can do them back to back.
Back to back, yeah.
You know, you just hope one of them's a tie in there, and then it kind of throws the numbers off. You know, probably good odds.
All right, well, Chris, last crystal in hand, going to be heading up to Ganon's tower. Let's hope that he makes the play go straight to the right. What?
Gotta drink the potion anyways. But yeah, I think Chris typically checks those first 2 chests.
I don't know. He went tile room first, this morning. So.
Well, you check the first 2 and then went to tile room.
Well, I mean, I would hope so.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe he won't. Maybe it'll surprise us.
I might go straight to like the Stalfos room. I don't know.
All right, Moldorm 2. Will you be defeated today?
Well, that was a quick attempt. Is he gonna? He's probably gonna try this a few times. Now, it's worth remembering that I believe Game 3 of the Kisei tournament, it was really close, like neck and neck in Ganon's tower, and basically Chris overtook him and kept the lead because of his hovers. So.
Yeah, you gotta just get it out of principle at this point. I think Eddie's just going for it.
It's like it's a lose-lose situation. There, he did it. He did the hover. Woo. Anyway, heading into Aga 2 fight. See what kind of patterns he gets for him. Maybe we'll get that beautiful double triple. As
that bumper goes crazy.
That bumper's throwing a fit. Really excited about this match.
It's the finals.
It's the finals. No, he was laughing at Andy's hover failures.
Sounds about right.
That's not a very pleasant first phase or first pattern, and only getting 1 off. Gonna go ahead and toss him on.
Not happy with that.
Quick. He's too quick for you, Andy. All right, that's 2. Another bomb, but he's too quick. Aga the quick. Another 2, so we're up to 5 as Chris is heading up the gauntlet. And you got to work on those bomb tosses. That's gonna do it.
Oh, now you told him, and he's doing it. He's working on him. You got 25 more to go.
Watch out. Yo, that was like a smoke screen. You throw the smoke on the ground, and then you're gone. Like you flew away or disappear.
Ninja Pug.
Yep, there it is. Yeah, decent Aga fight. Aga 2 fight for ALG Andy. He's heading into the Ganon fight with Tempered Sword in hand. What is he?
Is he trying to set up a hula hand right now?
Oh, no, he's just getting rid of his bombs. Okay, I guess we're just joking around now, you know.
Memeing as much as possible.
This is what happens when you win game 1. You just... go back, kill Moldor and bombos the chest. I mean, might as well do it all. Anyway. Let's see if he gets
I would have laughed if he, fell into hula hand there. I would have died.
That would be great. Yeah, 12 slashes or dashes for each of the 2 first phases. I love the dash strats. They're just they look good,
and they're efficient as well. Like you get the 1-in-1. That's what you want.
Well, especially with these late boots, you might as well keep using them. Phase 3 coming up. Just gotta hit him 2 more times, and then it's 4 silvers to put him down, and that will be basically it.
That's the big win of the tournament for Andy. He's just got to clutch this out. Nice land mow, too, from Christos, meanwhile. Oh!
Jeez, this is so stupid. But it looked nice. But my gosh, what a play to go for. 1 more, and that'll be it. Ganon is dead. As soon as Andy walks through that stairway, we will have a Link to the Past Randomizer Spring Tournament champion. And that person's name?
is ALG Andy. GG, Andy.
Wow. What a finish. What an incredible seed. And honestly, like, both players made really, really strong plays. ALG Andy champion. That's his new name. It really, I don't know, man. I don't know if we can put it solely on that Catfish play, but Chris making some tough decisions, like if he hadn't gone up to like Hookshot Cave and dipped into T-Rock the first time, that was a bit time consuming for him. And even just doing Blacksmith before Catfish, of course, you know. So Andy got to do a few more checks that he did, but with boots. But yeah, you got to look at the whole picture. And
it was so fascinating because of how early Chris went to Ice Palace and found like super value there, but a lot of that didn't really unlock other areas of the game. The Fire Rod was able to actually progress Andy and got him there. So I like they both kind of had their advantages at different points, and it looks like the Catfish play, you know, just really, really paid off there. Just depends what item is there when you go there.
It's always Catfish. Except when it isn't. Most
Looks like we have our tournament champion, ALG Andy, here with us.
GG.
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 How you feeling about that one?
It was a pretty bad seed that I played really well. Everything just kind of like fell in my path, I suppose, or the path I chose. Sequence breaking up Death Mountain to get mitts, and then going into pod to get hookshot, going to swamp to unsequence break everything, and then that super long stupid walk Catfish. That I was just like, I'm gonna go get Bombos and check Catfish, why not? And then I got all the fire sources I could ever imagine. And then it just kind of breadcrumbed its way to Flute from Sahasrara.
Yeah, you were basically, aside from like blacksmiths and maybe a couple other checks, like I don't think either of you guys ever went to Agnes Cave. So like we never touched the desert area. And then the thing is with that Catfish, it's like, how do you route that in? Unless you're doing like Pyramid Fairy, Pyramid Catfish. I think the fact that you did sequence break into Zora's Domain to see what was on the ledge gave you even more of a reason to go up to Catfish sooner. Especially because you're like, oh, Ice Palace, you know, might as well get that Bombos and go do it then. And then Catfish is like, hold on. But wait, there's more. I got something for you. And yeah, you guys both kept it really close. Chris was like the first one to go into Ice Palace. We saw all the good stuff in there, you know, Quake, Samaria, and another sword. But none of that really like led him anywhere specifically or like progressed him any further. And then he ended up doing like Hookshot Cave into T-Rock. Oh man, both you guys going for the crazy Ganon hit on the fourth phase and almost falling. I mean, I know what you guys are doing, but it's always scary to see. But yeah, it was. I don't want to put it just on Catfish, but that Fire Rod was definitely a helpful play. And Chris going into T-Rock without Fire Rod cost him a bit of time as well. But
I do have to say here, sorry to interrupt, but ChristosOwen has finished here. And he is our second place finisher, our runner-up in the spring tournament. So congratulations to Christos as well. Definitely a hard-fought battle to get here. Had a tough opponent in Andy and finishes strong.
Yeah, GG's to Chris. What a that was a good seed. When you get Dark World access as soon as you go into Bomb of the Well, it's like this seed could go anywhere at this point.
Yeah. But I always stick to my guns. I always do the same early route because all the times that I've like, oh, let's dip into Dark World early, it's bitten me real hard. So
and there was a lot of good stuff in Village of Outcasts, like, you know, sword, flippers. Mostly that sword would have been pretty nice. But yeah, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, is this a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. Do I want to go into the Dark World? I have 5 hearts. And then Blue Mail and Mini Moldon Cave, like, all right, I could not die in one hit, basically, so that's good.
I almost went to Catfish right after I dipped Skullwoods. I was gonna do Graveyard Ledge and Catfish into Bombos, but then I decided last second that Graveyard Ledge without mitts and boots just sucks so much.
It sure does.
True. It's pretty
so
bad.
I decided against it.
Man, if only you had gone with your initial gut, your
Who
initial
knows what
thought.
would have happened?
It would have been interesting. But yeah, that's the thing. With Catfish having a required item, that's one of the... It's like Agonist Cave. Like, when do you route that? Actually, no. Agonist Cave isn't as bad because a lot of times you route that in with like a mire check or a desert check. Catfish is just up there. And most players will go to Zora's Domain early. So...
I almost went to go check Agna after Swamp, but decided that Bombos into Ice was more important.
Mm-hmm.
And that certainly led you in the direction of Catfish, so that was a turning point, I will say.
Yeah.
I think Christos found that maybe a good 10 minutes or something after you, but he had done Ice at that point, so I mean, he was definitely rushing down the crystals.
And we do have our second place finisher, ChristosOwen, in the voice chat. GG's, my friend. How you feeling after that? Bad boy.
Yo, thanks, dude. And congrats, Andy.
Thanks, bud. GG's.
How am I feeling? Not too bad, to be honest. I was feeling a lot more disappointed after the first game because I played poop. But I played a lot better this time. I made a bunch of minor gambles and interesting routing decisions, which I felt I would have to do. Didn't pay off, but that's Randomizer. So at the end of the day, can't take anything away from Andy. I think he deserved to win this, and I was just outplayed, really.
I mean, could have gone any way. That Catfish play was kind of like the big deal breaker or game decider for the most part. But at the same time, there was like the dip into T-Rock that you made without a fire rod, which was a little time consuming, and then not doing pod because the first time you were in East Palace area. But yeah, as you said, they're all decisions that could have worked out. Unfortunately, some of them didn't. Some of them did.
How about that Ice Palace, Christos? How about that Ice Palace?
I was feeling pretty good when, I know Andy doesn't dip Ice for early. So I made that a priority as soon as I was able to. Found 3 very helpful items. 2 required. Well, I guess 1 required, or 2 required, and the other one ended up being required, but I didn't know that at the time. So I was feeling pretty good, but they didn't open up any obvious place for me to go. So I still ended up having to dip Pendant Pod, which was necessary, but then I did a bunch of stuff like Smith Chain, Hammer Pegs, and that sort of thing. But no, I'm feeling pretty happy. I got further than I expected to, based on the amount of time I've been practicing and playing this game. And I feel like I got further than I deserved as well. So I'm not unhappy. I'm just very happy for my friend Inebriated Transformise to finally have a win under his belt.
And you.
So does that tie up the series if we're just counting tournaments in general, or...
Oh, I have no idea. I'm pretty sure Andy has a lead on me. I think he already did. I think he just furthered his lead.
In 1v1s, I think I had a slight edge.
Ooh, somebody's keeping track over there.
I mean, I don't know exactly.
Let me just load up my spreadsheet.
We've done a bunch of showcase races and GDQ and Keysand was the first tournament we actually met. So I have a tournament edge. 3-2 now, I guess.
Oh man.
But yeah, no, it's really good to see Andy win. He has been playing this a lot recently, so it's good to see his efforts pay off.
It was nice to also see the Godmire for Andy, giving him a chance to hover that gap.
It's the first time all tournament that I got it, and then I failed. I almost got the hover first try, and then I dropped it, and then my hands went super cold, but I got it eventually. So that's all that matters, right?
That's all that matters. As long as you get it, that's all that matters. And it didn't cost you the race. That's all that matters. That's all that matters.
It was a fun seed though, honestly. Like I've had a blast this tournament. Like this seed in particular was the complete opposite of the first one. Dark God Access, Kakariko, so many options. Didn't find any items after Kakariko for like 20, 30 minutes. I was thinking just like, where is everything? Like, please game, give me something. We had a lot of options with routing. This is what Randomizer is about. So I feel like it was a great seed for finals.
Definitely showed off, both of you guys' skill and routing and execution. Like it was an amazing seed to watch because there was just so many branching paths.
Apart from falling Hera bomb jump, like there's nothing else that I can look back on and think, man, I sucked there or whatever. Like it was a pretty solid seed execution wise. Just my routing didn't work out as well as it could have, but what can you do? That's part of it. That's part of it.
I mean, finishing 4 minutes difference, nothing. It's pretty good. In Randomizer, it's pretty good.
Yeah, and plus, got to look on the prize side. With like 512 people, I'm really happy to finish second. And I get to play La Milana.
Yeah,
there you go.
That's always good.
It's a good game. Hope you can solve the riddles of the ruins. But yeah, with the top 128, we're basically, I'd say pretty much anyone in top 120, or at least top 64, could have taken this tournament to be able to come make it all the way to the finals match for both you guys is just amazing, especially in a randomizer where basically anything can happen. And look, Chris checked 2 less items, so you basically won, right? Can we do a tournament that's entirely based on collection rate?
I think we need to read that every time.
People are just going to be resetting like
God.
Just, you get it? Boom! Reset.
Oh man, that was 10 checks since the last key item. Reset and just go get the key item instead by itself. It'd be awful.
All right, Willard, you're hosting.
Oh gosh. Well, see you tomorrow. Might as well.
How's your journey been? I did want to ask Andy. I mean, how are you feeling right now, and how have you felt about the whole tournament?
Pretty good. I haven't felt like I played badly. There was one game against Zero Rush in game 2 where I made some really stupid mistakes and ended up, making bad plays purposely to try and catch up. But other than that, I feel like my play was pretty solid throughout the whole tournament, which makes me pretty happy. I still think that that game 3 versus Zero Rush was probably my favorite rando tournament race or race in general that I've ever done.
What, the one that came down to a tie?
The tie with the Aghanim skip with the fairy revival fake flipper.
That was really,
so
really good to watch.
Dang.
It's gonna be hard to top
back and watch that. Yeah, there's been so many memorable moments in this spring tournament, and I feel like as a community we've come a long way since spring tournament of 2017, where we had 100 people in the tournament. To be able to put together a 512 person tournament and finish, how many months did it take? It doesn't matter. Some amount of months. It's just astronomical and fantastic. So, and it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure racing, watching, and all that stuff. And it's been a pleasure hanging out with both you guys, both in the game and at GDUs and stuff. So, congratulations to both you guys for just being awesome and putting on an awesome show. So, thank you.
Yeah, major congrats. And somebody beat Ben. Great job.
Yeah. finally, as Ben said in the chat, someone else will finally check the Houlihan tablet.
What's in you guys' future? That's what I'm curious about.
I get a 1 week break from tournaments, and then next week starts my co-op SMZ3 tournament shenanigans. So that's fun, I suppose.
And then for me, I'm currently in the Overworld Glitches tournament. and I'm actually really, really enjoying it. I forgot how fun it is to play this game with glitches. It's a really short tournament too. It'll be over in just a few weeks' time. There's only 24 entrants, and it's already into round 2. But then after that, honestly, I'm definitely... Well, there's the speed gaming series, but I haven't been playing much A Link to the Past Randomizer, and I'm probably not going to be playing too much in the future. I've got a lot of other goals I want to do. I want to focus on Link to the Past speedrunning, and just a bunch of other games in my backlog I need to get through.
Zooter.
And Zuda, obviously.
Zooter.
I mean, I say all that, you will know I'm just going to play Zuda all night.
And that's all you
Same,
need.
though.
Lana and Zooter. Anyway.
But yeah, one thing I do want to say, like this has been going on for a few months, and there's definitely been ups and downs for the tournament. Like organizing on this scale with 500 plus people has been an absolute mammoth effort.
Exhausting.
So,
Big
I wanna-
big shout outs to everybody.
yeah, I want to say thanks to all the other admins and moderators, all the volunteers, the commentators, the trackers, the restreamers, like everyone involved, the viewers as well, and all the runners. I know it hasn't been the smoothest tournament. We've learned a lot from it, from like a tournament admin perspective, and hopefully we'll be implementing things better for following tournaments. Yeah, I want to say thanks especially to Rick, Felix, and DT, who honestly, without those three, doing so much work, like on the back of things, yeah, things would have just fallen apart. So shout outs to you three in particular.
Yeah, it can't be understated how many people have put in a lot of work to make this happen. So much love to everybody who's been involved. Racers as well. You know, we wouldn't be able to have this tournament without all the racers, all 512 of them. So, and of course, all of you watching, thank you guys for being here, hanging out all the time as well.
Yeah. And also, shout outs to Brian from Challenge.
Shout outs to the Challenge guy. Dealing with the Swiss stage, not actually functioning properly at the end of every round, and then also refunding me my Challenge Pro money.
Oh man, every
What a
Sunday
guy.
night,
Yep.
hanging out, waiting for that reply. Yeah, I'll fix it. All right, cool. Thanks. See you next week.
Yeah, the first couple weeks were just me and Willard at like stupid o'clock in the morning, going through all the Swiss rounds, making sure everything was recorded correctly, trying to do the last one, and it just, nope. I don't want to work today. All right, gotta email Brian.
Oh man, but yeah, I everything you guys said, I double. It's been a lot of fun, and shout outs to basically everybody involved. And yeah, if you guys, Andy, Chris, if you have any like final words about the seed or just about the race or anything else, I believe we have a little more to talk about. I believe there was a hint at a future tournament.
I heard something about it. Before you guys talk about that, I just, well done, Andy. Dude, congratulations, buddy.
Thank you very much, buddy. Congrats to you too. You and me, top two. Who'd have
Let's
thunk
see
it?
if we can do it again.
3 straight main tournaments, easy peasy.
Is it time? Can I say the thing?
I think you
Do
can.
it, Willard.
Okay,
Get it
so,
done.
You know, there's a spring tournament, and then there's a fall tournament. And fall starts like, I'm looking at my watch,
Next week.
like next week. Well,
Almost.
fall tournament's not starting next week, so don't worry about that.
Wait, it's starting tomorrow, right, Willard? It's like tomorrow, right?
But we are going to be hosting a fall tournament. We're going to be doing things a little bit differently this time. Instead of the crazy Swiss bracket or Swiss stage into brackets, we're going to be we're bringing back qualifiers. You guys remember that from the fall tournament? These big silly races, and it's going to be 3 weeks of qualifiers. We're going to have, I don't know how many different games. More details to come about that. But get ready, mark your calendars. October 1st will be the first day of qualifiers. It's going to go qualifiers into top into top 96 that are going to make it into the group stages, which is going to be 16 groups of 6 people that will be playing each other at least 3 times, so 15 games potentially, or 15 games each, and then moving on to top 32 into brackets, I think, something like that.
Yes, yeah, top
That sounds
32.
right. Yeah.
So we're switching things up, and if you're curious, if you're thinking, what's he going on about? We're gonna have an announcement up in the tournament Discord. Go check it out. More details there. We're still fine-tuning some stuff, so not everything's set in stone. And if you're like, this sounds terrible, well, get over it. It's gonna be great.
I think the
excited.
qualifiers are all also open mode, which
Yes.
is important to note. So you got 50 days to practice your open mode.
And it's also, we're going to be doing things a little bit differently with because we think, however many months this took of playing the same game mode can kind of get a little stale. So if you go read on the document, there's going to be some cool details about being able to play different game modes for the next stages. So if you want to do a swordless, go for it. If you want to do Randomizer, maybe. More details to come. Go check it out. We're really excited to bring it on. It's gonna be stupid, but we're gonna have fun, and we're gonna make it fun. And it's gonna be crazy. So October 1st, start practicing. Get ready, guys. It's gonna be wacky.
Woo!
Awesome. Marked on my calendar. I will be there watching all races. All right, guys. I think we are going to wrap this up. Thank you guys again so much for watching. Thanks again to everybody involved behind the scenes. Again, major congratulations to Andy and ChristosOwen. Andy, ALG Andy, our tournament champion. He had to, of course, write that on the screen for us. To be very clear.
Well, I didn't put that there. Excuse me.
Can someone write in ChristosOwen runner-up, or is that too far? That'd be too far. I'm sorry. I take it back.
Just put
Numpty.
loser.
Can we put Numpty
Just call
up
me
there?
the loser. That's...
No.
Okay, not working.
Okay.
You're my favorite loser, Chris.
God, thanks.
Oh,
And you're
so
my
sweet.
favorite loser too.
Man. Thank you guys so much for coming out. Thanks everybody for watching and everybody for playing, everybody involved. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you right around the corner, a couple months from now. And before I sign off, of course, more stuff to come on Speed Gaming. We do have the Speed Gaming Summer, a Link to the Past Randomizer Tournament qualifiers going on every day, switching between 2 p.m. and 9 p.m., and then both 2 p.m. and 9 p.m. on Saturdays and Sundays. Top 8 from those are going to be making it into a bracket stage. More info can be found on the Speed Gaming site for that. But yeah, don't go anywhere. We also have the daily races. We got the Overall Glitches tournament. We got the French and German tournaments going on. So this tournament's over, but there's plenty more Randomizer going on to watch. So go out there, go watch, and y'all take it easy, right?